This is one example where we're at here, the Mystic Woods condos off of West Pensacola Street in the west side of town. And look at all this damage and the downed trees, branches everywhere where we're walking. Anywhere you go in Taylor County, you could feel that the energy is different now as compared to 24 hours ago. But you see a lot of scenes like the one behind me here. I want to take you in and give you a closer look at this. This looks like probably a piece of a roof or maybe a shed, just all crumpled up right beside this county building. We're going to go ahead and look back out and actually, wow, we're seeing right here, first ones, Indiana, Kentucky, seeing numbers coming right here. We got exclusive access to the GOP vice presidential candidate's motorcade. And to add to that, we were the only local TV news crew to do so. Ray City, Georgia is a community just outside of Valdosta of roughly 1,000 people. And those about 1,000 people who call this town home are having to deal with sights like this behind me after Hurricane Helene came through this town just a week ago. Take a look at this large tree uprooted right near the street. But if you come with me down the road and take a look over my right shoulder, look at all these power lines and the poles going down this street. So I want to show you behind me here. You can kind of see some boarded up buildings still and lots of debris, quite a bit of broken glass along Jefferson Street right here. This is sort of the center of downtown Perry. Lots of people getting a look at their businesses for the first time. The president, of course, wrapping up his remarks about 20 minutes ago over at the Shiloh Pecan Farms, getting a look at damage just like we are here near downtown Ray City. I want to show you this. This is a snapped power line. All these power lines down, stretching down this street with lots of tree debris going further down. And then over to my left, you can see a lot of Georgia Power crews on bucket trucks. They are working to get the power back on. They have been out all day in this part of Ray City. So the president getting a look at damage here in Ray City, Georgia, much like what we're seeing down here in Ray City on Pauline Avenue. We showed you this at 5. This is another vantage point. Check out that snap power pole and all these lines down. And if you come with me, I want you to take a look over here. Down Johnson Street, look at this. Numerous Georgia Power line workers and bucket trucks working to get the power back on tonight. Well, first of all, thank you very much for everyone who tuned in last night, and hopefully for all of you that stayed up late with us, got some rest and got some coffee too. So first of all, here's the latest look. We've got the Electoral College votes. You see right here on our map, the former president, now President-elect Donald Trump, 292 Electoral College votes. Past the 270 needed versus Kamala Harris at 224. You see right here, these are all of the states that have been called for Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. The ceremonies for former Governor and Senator Bob Graham are well underway. In fact, our Brea Ruffin and I are going to give you a closer look as to what many saw earlier this morning. You could see the hearse right here that pulled up around 10:30 carrying Governor and Senator Graham. But I want to go ahead and go into Florida. You can see right here within the Big Bend, we have Gadsden, Leon County going for Harris. But if you circle all the way right through here, through the Big Bend, a lot of support for Donald Trump in there. They just delivered a bunch of new cots from FAMU to be put inside the shelter behind me. If we want to take a look at the map here, you can see Florida and Georgia, those seats are pretty solid. But there are still that are pretty close and have not been called by the Associated Press. They still have a long way to go. And in fact, when you hear from people that live here at Mystic Woods, some of the words that they're using are devastating, scary. Some of these folks have lived through multiple hurricanes here in the Florida Panhandle, and they say that the tornadoes that came through here on Friday was the worst storms that they have ever lived through while living here in the capital city. In fact, when you see property right down here, our photojournalist Sam Thomas and I are going to give you a closer look. Lots of trees, big ones that are just spread out across this property, even on top of units or inside units. But then take a look at this. You see tire tracks on the property here. That's because the parking lot is blocked off to the point to where some residents have to drive here on the property onto the sidewalk where Sam is standing now just to leave the property and get out of the complex out onto the road. Republican vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance spoke before many supporters and law enforcement outside the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office in South Georgia Thursday.
The one thing that we have got to do to fix this country is fix the leadership.
High school senior Thomas Holt drove more than an hour to see former President Donald Trump's running mate.
I talked to my school administration and said, hey, Senator Vance is going to be in Valdosta, and they said, perfect, you're excused.
The event marked a first for Holt, his first political rally to attend, ahead of his first election as a voter in the battleground state.
This is the future of our country that's at stake here, and that's what's on the ballot in November. And also, I feel like the more civically engaged you are, the more you should want to do this stuff.
After Vance touched down in Valdosta Thursday,
Everything, yeah, a lot of glazed here, some sprinkle stuff.
we followed him as he visited a local donut shop.
Hey guys, how are you? Good to see you all.
And greeted GOP supporters.
Where are we? Wow, that's a ton of weed.
Before the event kicked off, law enforcement showed Vance a display of firearms and illegal drugs recently seized, some in packaging appearing like candy. The GOP ticket spent Thursday speaking about immigration and border security, Trump at the border in Arizona, while Vance visited Valdosta.
We have got to get back to the kind of country where kids can make childhood mistakes, and the Mexican drug cartels are not going to be there to take advantage of them.
I asked Vance what brought him to this area to address this issue. If you could elaborate more on why South Georgia to hold an event based on immigration and border security specifically.
What is unique about South Georgia and the effect of the policies of Kamala Harris is the wide open southern border, because you have that intersection of I-10 and I-75 here, very close by. It creates a lot of space for the drug traffickers and for the sex traffickers and the human traffickers. I mean, you have crime happening in this beautiful small town that would have never happened if Kamala Harris had actually done her job.
In response to Vance's visit, the Harris campaign sent us this statement saying in part, while Trump and Vance are dividing Georgians, Vice President Harris is bringing people together. We turned Georgia blue for the first time in 3 decades in 2020, and we're building the campaign we need to win the state again in 2024.
It's a privilege and an honor to have him join us today.
Lowndes County resident Mark Wilson believes support for candidates this election season is important, an election season that Holt won't soon forget.
To be able to get out here and feel like I'm a part of something and contributing is really something that it's a good feeling.
And as for what's next for the campaign this week, we do know the former president will be holding a rally in Glendale, Arizona, and an event in Las Vegas on Friday. In Valdosta, Zak Dahlheimer, WCTV Eyewitness News.
It's a tragedy.
Tangela Brown is coping with the sudden loss of her longtime neighbor on Anon Church Road after Friday's storms. LCSO officials say the woman was pinned down by a tree that came through her home just down the street from Brown.
As soon as things calm down, I'm gonna, go over there and give them my condolences. But all you can do is just pick up the pieces.
Downed trees and power lines on homes, cars, and roads were a common sight all around Leon County Friday, especially at the Mystic Woods condos in Tallahassee near West Pensacola Street.
I was scared.
Residents recall hearing early morning alerts and seeing trees come down all around them.
Me and my fiance were going back and forth in there trying to get the kids right. I mean, it's something that I never been through as a young man.
Property manager Troy Carver jumped in to help those stuck in their units and believes 50 people were forced out of their homes after damage like this. Trees blocking walkways on top of roofs, and some units even flooded.
I've never in my life seen anything like this. I feared my life. Never in my life have I ever feared my life. It was, words can't explain it.
Now here's another look at the damage here at Mystic Woods. Check out this debris covering up quite a bit of this parking lot. But then I want to show you this, those 2 mailboxes there and this car all dented up and its windows broken.
The impacts look very much like the impacts of a hurricane.
Leon County Emergency Management Director Kevin Peters says the impacts are county-wide as crews clear roads and tackle the damage. And with hurricane season starting in just a few weeks, Peters emphasizes how important it is to be prepared for major storms, not just during part of the year.
We need to be prepared all year long for disasters. That means having a plan for an emergency.
Much of the Mystic Woods condos look the same Monday as compared to when we were last out here on Friday. Lots of trees down, especially on top of or inside units. In fact, I want to show you this behind me. Check out this big tree branch going through this bottom unit's window. We have also been seeing cars driving on this sidewalk here across the property just to get out of the complex.
Devastating.
It's been a long 4 days for Leo White Jr. after damage from Friday's tornadoes forced him out of his condo. He recalls getting out of Dodge as trees and rain fell around him.
I didn't want it to fall on me or hurt me, so the best thing I could do was get out.
Maintenance.
But as maintenance workers Dakota Beltran and Zachary Carnahan cut down limbs and patched up roofs Monday, White has one question.
When is help coming? These are not just limbs, these are full-grown trees, you know, just laying around out here.
I was speechless.
Catherine Helms is another one of the dozens to have been forced out of their unit. Rainwater filling up her light fixtures Monday on top of Friday's damage.
This complex is probably the worst I've seen through the city.
For Helms, she's concerned about what could be next.
We're just kind of stuck waiting to see what's going on with the insurance and what is covered. If it is covered, if it's not covered, then we're just kind of like up a creek.
It was really scary, you know, you didn't know what you were walking into.
We just do what we can, bit by bit.
Both Beltran and Carnahan are taking it one day at a time.
We don't have any proper equipment to take down trees safely. We don't have proper equipment to move them because we still have a lot of tenants staying in buildings with no power.
For Beltran, storm recovery is personal after losing a family member during Hurricane Michael.
If I can do anything to help anybody not feel that or feel comfort and that somebody cares about them and wants to help them. Even if they can't do much, the feeling matters a lot.
They'll continue working, hopeful that more help will be on the way. Now, the property manager tells me he left for Dothan to try and get large tarps back down here for the property. Meanwhile, he says he's reached out to folks with the city, county, state, and the Red Cross asking for help. And he tells me he's still waiting to hear back. In Tallahassee, Zak Dahlheimer, WCTV Eyewitness News.